We're here at the Community Foundation in downtown Medicine Hat. We're talking about a number of different events that are coming up in the community because you want to know what's going on in your community, right? That's why you're watching us. And besides to see me, Mike Christie is with us here from the Community Foundation of Southeastern Alberta. Mike, how you doing today?
I'm very good, thank you very much.
Great. Now, I understand there's a great event coming up in November.
November 1st, Random Acts of Kindness Day. Now, a lot of people would suggest that a random acts of kindness kind of thing, when you shovel somebody's snow or sweep somebody's drive, that should maybe happen every day of the year. But we would like to promote and encourage people to go out and do a random act of kindness for their friends, for their neighbors, for their work colleagues, whatever it might be, on Friday, November 1st. And we're going to combine random acts of kindness with the pay it forward concept. So the idea is you produce a random act of kindness for somebody, you hand them a little business card that says they've received that random act of kindness and to pass it forward. And I guess the key thing for us is it's all about recording what those stories are. We all know some really neat things that people do. I think it hit the media recently. There was some incredibly generous people providing hundreds of cups of coffee in Tim Hortons in Edmonton and across the country. So those kind of things, but we'd like to record those stories, the smaller stories, they're just the simple acts of holding a door open or saying thank you to a volunteer or whatever the thing might be. And, with the amount of social media and smartphones these days, so that's really what we are trying to do, is encourage that to happen with what we call Kindness Cruise, kindness and cruise spelled K, Kindness Cruise, you see. So the idea is that you can contact us here at the Community Foundation, let us know that you, a workplace, a group of friends, a service club, whatever it might be, are going to get together, do some random acts of kindness and record it in some way or other, share it with us, and then we'll make sure it's then put out on social media, websites, and all those kind of things, and we'll promote and talk about it. And hopefully the whole thing will just ripple outwards, and we'll see thousands of random acts of kindness on November 1st or perhaps on the days following that.
Isn't it true that something like that kind of is contagious, where if you're driving in rush hour traffic, one person lets another person and then someone else is like, yeah, okay, I guess I'll let you in. Isn't that kind of true how it happens?
I think that's exactly it. The whole idea is to sort of just generally raise that feeling of neighborliness and good community values and all that empathy for each other, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I've seen some pretty neat things. One example that made me smile was in another community. They were doing something similar, and they were handing out free newspapers to people who were sitting in the lineup, at a stoplight, trying to get to work in the morning. And it was a bit crazy because they're not sure about winding their window down, to have some odd person pass them a newspaper. So it was quite amusing. But everybody was just enjoying it, and you could just sense everybody was getting to work with a good smile on their face that day.
Do you have a target for some certain kinds of random act of kindness? Is there kind of like some, maybe people trying to trump others, trying to raise the bar? Is that kind of the vision for this?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the world, we're all slightly competitive, and absolutely. If there's one particular workplace or one service club compared to another, and they've got they've done more that day, or there's more of them out doing it, or they're all wearing different colored T-shirts or caps, or whatever the thing might be. Yeah, sure, absolutely. But I mean, I think what we want to hear from, of course, is not just, oh, this is what we went out and did, but we'd love to hear from people who received the random act of kindness, and then maybe how they decided, just as you suggested, how they decided to pay it forward. That's almost the strongest piece of it.
The Good Samaritan, I guess, kind of thing. Now, a lot of people have been giving back and helping out with others during the time of the flood. I understand your community is still very involved with flood relief.
Yeah, the Community Foundation was approached by the city and asked if we would, establish a relief fund. And we're very pleased with how that's going. I think we've got some big announcements to make later on this month about some donations that we know are coming or about to come. Suffice to say that I know that we are going to have a substantial amount of dollars to be able to hand out. So I should say that this is financial donations that we're accepting. I think at this point we're halfway through August now. The flood was at the end of June. A lot of those real emergency situations have been dealt with. the city and a lot of the authorities and a lot of volunteers have dealt very effectively with those immediate needs. I know that our organization will be looking to fund those more medium to long-term needs, and we'll be working closely with our counterparts, other charities that are doing the same kind of work, United Way and Santa Claus Fund and people like that. So, but at the moment we're still getting some donations together. There is, frankly, hundreds of people that still need help and will need help in that medium to long term. So we're certainly encouraging people to continue to consider having those fundraisers and making donations, because the scale of this disaster that hit us in June should not be diminished in any way. It's going to take years for some people to reestablish their lives properly. So, we'll work very carefully. I know my board will put a task team together to do a needs analysis and to be very careful to make sure we don't, spend the money in a way that might duplicate what the province is doing or what insurance is doing. So all of that needs to be carefully thought through. But, we're looking at, as I said, being able to do something we hope which will be fairly substantive and help people as much as we possibly can.
Understand that people can apply for grants as well for their organizations?
Well, exactly. The way this is now down to the regular Community Foundation annual cycle of grant making, and of course we've had a fairly good year. We had a 14% return on our investment, so it just kind of means that
That's pretty big.
Yeah, it's. I don't recall having a return as big as that before. What that means is, of course, the concept of the Community Foundation is that all the money we receive is endowed and not spent. So the interest we earn from those permanent pools of money is what we're able to use for grant making. So, of course, 14% return means that there's a reasonable amount of money there. So all I'm saying is September 15th is the deadline for this first grant cycle of this particular year. And I would certainly encourage all my charitable colleagues. So these are charitable grants, so it needs to be a charity that applies, but I would certainly encourage any organization that's thinking of it. This is probably a good year to fill in our application and get them in by. Now, September 15th is a Sunday, so we were just talking about that we'll still accept them on sort of first thing on Monday, September 16th. But we'd like those the applications to be in fairly promptly.
So if somebody wants more information about everything we just talked about, is there a website? You're involved in social media?
Absolutely. All of that stuff. So the easiest way, of course, is to go to the website, which is CFSEA, as for our initials, Community Foundation, Southeastern Alberta. So cfsea.ca. And then you can follow us on all the social media, and all the contacts and other information is on that website.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
All right, so lots to take in there. There's Random Act of Kindness Day, November 1st. There's ways to definitely still be involved with flood relief. And maybe apply for a grant. That deadline's coming around the corner. Thanks to Mike today, and thanks for watching.